Welcome to NVC Dudes. I'm James Prieto.
I'm Brian. How's it going, James?
Pretty good, man.
Awesome, dude. So I've been thinking a lot about anger lately because there's been a lot of anger going on in the world, especially in the United States right now. And all my life I've been kind of programmed to repress my anger and to not be angry because anger is a bad thing. You're not supposed to be angry. But in the world of NVC, I understand that anger is actually a very useful and powerful tool that needs to be embraced.
Yep, I hear you. Acknowledging what the truth is. And that's where the freedom comes from. You got to acknowledge what's real.
Right. So there's an authenticity around anger. It's a matter of what you do with it that kind of could create violence in the world or not, depending on how you process it, right? So we're admitting that anger is actually a good thing, but not necessarily in a way that's most people express their anger as not necessarily a good thing.
Yeah. And I kind of remember, hearing Marshall talk about how anger, it's got emotion to it, but it also has like some judgment, some evaluation, some blaming going on.
Right.
So that's kind of mixed in with the emotions.
Right. And so we're trying to figure out as we experience anger as an emotion, right? It's easy for us to make those judgments and express them in a violent way. It takes a little more careful consideration to understand where the anger is coming from and what would be a good way to process it. And Marshall talks about that a lot too, the triggering versus the cause of the anger, right? Like something that you could do might trigger me, but then finding the cause that's within me, where this comes from, is really valuable.
Totally.
Yeah. So it's actually a good thing.
Yeah.
It reveals, for me, like where it's coming from, especially if it has nothing to do with the situation that I'm currently in. If it's a situation where I've become angry about a conversation I'm having with somebody, maybe a friend or a family member, and I'm becoming angry. It may not be the fact that, because a lot of times people will say, "Oh, I'm really angry at you," or "What you said really pissed me off," or we can add the "you" in there. We could try to put the blame on somebody else, but understanding that the anger is actually coming from internally, even though it's been triggered by something that somebody else said, it's actually, we own that, and that's an important thing to discover.
Yeah, what you said about growing up, I also grew up with a negative sense towards anger, and the way anger showed up in my life, it wasn't safe. There was some violence about to happen, and I like what you said about taking responsibility for the anger that's going on inside, and I think that if we can really tune into the core of why we're angry, it can be fuel for action. And sometimes that's what we need,
Right.
is to actually take some action to, contribute to life somehow.
Right.
And sometimes we use the protective use of force.
Right. Exactly.
Which is, totally supported by nonviolent communication.
Right.
And yeah. So I hear you, man. And, I've got all kinds of feelings going on and some judgments happening as well in my head. So I think we have some good material to work with, man.
Yeah. So let's go to another video. Let's go to part 2, and let's actually dig a lot deeper into that process in our mind that's actually happening. Does that sound good?
Sure. Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do it.